Welcome back to the Utah State Dynasty, everybody. We are 6-1 here in season number 8. We did suffer a loss in the last episode to Notre Dame, but then we had a thrilling victory against California, and we are now ranked 9th in the country, and we are set to take on Stanford to begin this episode. We started the season 5-0 with a lot of close games, and then we had a home game against Notre Dame, and they beat us 31-28. They're the 10th ranked team in the nation. We then beat Cal in a thriller. Now we have a road game against Stanford, back-to-back byes, and then we'll take on Tulane, Memphis, Arizona State, and BYU, all to close out the season at home. Something that I didn't show at the end of last episode, you guys saw that John Cloud did commit, but something I didn't show was strong safety Jaleel Rattay has chosen Oregon. It's kind of unfortunate because we had to visit with him in the Notre Dame game, but he must have liked something that Oregon was pitching to him because he took a huge jump. He didn't even allow us to get into a top 3 battle. He went straight from his top 5 all the way to a commitment. He is a 4-star gem safety, 55th best player in the nation with 90 speed and 79 zone coverage and the ability to even play down in the box and tackle at times. We unfortunately miss out on that battle, but I'm going after 2 linebackers, and Stephen Carney is an athlete who has 89 speed, 69 zone coverage. He could certainly be a safety for us. So I'm going after him. And then we are also going after Jose Parra, who is an 86 speed, 81 tackling run stopper. So we have some guys to look at here. We have 18 total guys on the board. We have a total of 9 commitments. So we're going after a total of 9 guys right now. And as it stands, we have the 4th best recruiting class in the nation. In the Pac-12, Stanford has the 12th best with 6 4-stars. They have been able to recruit really well here in the series, but other than the one time that they went to the college football playoff, they have honestly kind of struggled throughout this entire dynasty. Looking at the Pac-12 standings here, we are in 3rd with a 3-1 record in the conference. Stanford, sitting at 3-2, has a 1-1 record in the conference. Our defense has typically been our strongest part of the team, but allowing 161 points so far this season, we've honestly kind of struggled a little bit. The offense has been the one responsible for winning a lot of these games. Tulane, a team that we'll take on here in this episode, is only allowed 84 points on the entire season. So far this season, I think Anthony Tobin's been really good at quarterback yet again. Completing 67% of his passes, has 19 touchdowns on the season, 1,700 yards passing, and then we've actually had a running back put together a really strong season in Xavier Blunt with 520 yards rushing. Donald Stacy's our number 2 back. He has 230 yards rushing. And then Tyquan Garrett continues to do his thing. Donald Stacy with 28 receptions. And Rob Hoffman has been pretty much our top target as far as who we're going to be throwing the football to. Zach Truin also has 19 receptions and 3 touchdowns. I mentioned in the beginning of last episode, it kind of feels like we're not creating that big of a pass rush. Outside of Rudy Peely, we really haven't. LaShawn Johnson, only 3 sacks. Dalvin Kubila, 2.5. But Dylan Garrison is back, finally, from his injury. He has 1.5 sacks on the season, but he has been out for the last couple of weeks. When you look at the season stats here, he only played in the Army game. That's the only game that he's played in all season. He was injured in that game, and he is finally healthy. He put together 1.5 sacks in that one, and I think that he still even has potential to put up double-digit sacks this year. Interceptions-wise, we're continuing to take the football away from quarterbacks. You have 3 interceptions for Miguel Catapano and then 2 each for Dexter Peavy and Max Wolfert, who really hasn't seen the field all that much recently. It was brought up in the last episode that I should probably drop the injury slider again, and I think that's something I'm probably going to do. Cedric Prince is out for the remainder of the season with a compound foot fracture. Antoine Darby has about 3 more weeks left on his injury stint, and Demarius Ahmad, our starting right tackle, will be out with a torn labrum for the next 4 weeks. So I am going to go ahead and drop the injury slider just a bit. And I'm really not sure what the sweet spot would be, but I'm going to go with 47. And then if you guys think that's still too high, just let me know in the comments below. But with all that being said, I think we are finally ready to get into our first game here of the episode. And we are going to enter here in the second half of this game. It's a 20-10 game. Stanford did kick off to begin the second half, but we fumbled the kickoff return. They got the football back and then scored a touchdown, and that in turn made this game a 10-point game. So again, struggling here, this time on the road against Stanford as we connect with Donald Stacy for a first down. under 100 yards passing on the day is Anthony Tobin. Again, we're playing in a close game, and we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight our way back in this game. Already across midfield here. The plan for this one was to just let the game play out a little bit longer, and we're struggling to put together some offensive possession, so I felt we need to hop in. Here's the deep ball now. Bumped was Zach Truin, and the pass will fall incomplete. Therefore, at second, it looked like we were going to have him, but a lot of traffic over there, and that's what causes the incompletion. So 2nd down and 10 now for Utah State, as this one's thrown to Tyquan Garrett for a first down. He breaks the tackle, and he's going to score. What a play by Tyquan Garrett, as Utah State makes this a one-possession game. This junior receiver has really became one of my favorite wideouts we've had throughout this entire series. Of course, Shelton Sampson back in the day, he wore number 6. Tyquan Garrett is making that number look good yet again. Here's the play again. Tobin throws the slant to Garrett, who breaks not 1, not 2, but 3 tackles pretty much, and then marches his way into the end zone. So Utah State is back in this one. And just like that, the defense forces a 3 and out, and they got the football back midway through the 3rd quarter with an opportunity as Xavier Blunt takes it to the right and picks up 8 yards. He's been really efficient in this game with 6 carries, 66 yards, averaging 11 yards per carry. 2nd down and 2 now. We're going to go right back to Blunt as he will pick up a yard. And here in this situation, 3rd and 1, the offensive line needs to put a hat on a hat and block at the line of scrimmage. Give to Blunt, and he is not going to make it. 4th and inches upcoming, and Utah State is not going to punt in this situation. 4th and inches, the decision is obvious. It's a quarterback sneak and a first down for Utah State. Xavier Blunt, after those carries, a little shaken up, so Donald Stacy will enter at running back now, as we're going to try and set up the screen to him. Stacy's got blockers. He's got space. Donald Stacy with a hurdle and then laid out at the 21-yard line. But Utah State finally able to move the football in this game. 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. That's Stacy in motion. Stacy will take it to the outside as he stiff arms the defender and is wrestled down inside the 10-yard line. Goal to go here for Utah State at the 9-yard line. As here is Tobin in the pocket. He steps up and he's going to be taken down for a sack. It's the 3rd of the game so far for Stanford. It's a rib injury at the moment for Xavier Blunt, as we're going to toss this one out to Blunt. He's looking for the edge inside the 5, and he's got in for a touchdown. He's got the edge, and he's got the score. Utah State has taken the lead. The last time they led in this game was when it was 3-0 early on, and now it is 22-20. And with the PAT from Villalobos, will make it a 3-point game. 3rd and 8 upcoming. Dylan Garrison out there for the first time since week 1 against Army, as Utah State's looking to get off the field here. Here is the quarterback. Drops back. He's got his running back for a first down. I guess while we're here, we might as well just stick with the defense and see if we're able to make a play here. 50 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. They're going to go with the play action here. Garrison gets off his block pretty well. They dump it to the running back, who picks up 6 yards. 2nd and 4 upcoming. Quarterback drops back. He's looking for his man. He's got him in stride. Stanford with a huge play inside the 5-yard line. Dexter Peavy has gotten beat a lot in man coverage this season. It's not really been that good. And the unfortunate thing is I like to call a lot of man out of nickel, and Dexter Peavy is 2 under what Max Wolford is. I think in this situation, I'm going to allow Max Wolford to be our slot corner. He's got 2 interceptions on the season. We might as well see what he's able to do. And Stanford is knocking on the door. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. They go with the running back, and he is stopped shy. Nakamura with 95 yards on the ground in this game. And it really feels like he's going to be the guy they go right back to in this situation. 2nd and goal from the 2. They do, and Nakamura's in. Stanford reclaims the lead. And a 3 and out for the Utah State offense as they punt it away. Now looking for the defense to get off the field. Here's a 4th and 1 upcoming. Stanford's going to stay out there. A big-time 4th and 1 upcoming for the Stanford Cardinal. Utah State looking to get off the field. They bring pressure, and the pass is going to be dropped after the completion. B.J. Garrison picks it up, and he's got the football all the way to the Stanford 46. What in the world just happened? Stanford had the conversion. Now the question is, was the receiver's knee down? They are not going to review it. We have to watch this play back and see what happened here. It was Monte Khan in coverage. The receiver has possession, but they must be ruling that before his knee hit the ground, he was allowing that football to come free. As we watch it back, it looks like the knee touches just as the football starts to come loose, unless they're ruling that it's coming loose right here. But they're not going to review it, and Utah State takes over. A huge play to give the Aggies the football back as they go Blunt up the middle, and he is wrestled down after a minimal gain. 2nd and 9 upcoming for Utah State. Here comes pressure. The throw is caught by Donald Stacy for a first down, his 5th catch of the game. And Utah State will go hurry up now. They have Stanford on their toes, a little frustrated at the moment. Here is Stacy on the run to the outside, and Stacy's got a first down carry. Only his 3rd carry of the game. We talked about it a little bit. You know, I'd like to get him more carries, but at times it just doesn't feel like he's the guy we should give the football to on the ground. Xavier Blunt has been so good this season. Now trying to set up the screen to Stacy. Donald Stacy's got it in space. Stacy, a hurdle and a score. Donald Stacy gives Utah State the lead. When we first got him in the transfer portal, after I ended that offseason episode, I went straight to the practice field, and I started mashing the circle button, and the X button, and the Y button, and the stiff arm button, all of those buttons. I'm naming PlayStation, Xbox buttons, it doesn't matter. But one thing I noticed is this guy has some elite jumping ability, and it was on display right there. And now we desperately need our defense to make a stop here. It's back-to-back long plays for Stanford as they're at the 35-yard line, and we're going to have to go out there with the defense with 5:50 remaining. Dalvin Kugbila extremely worn out there. 1st and 10, they go single back here. Play fake. Here comes Garrison, and he nearly got there in time. No sacks for this Utah State defense in this game, and it's probably because Rudy Peely hasn't been on the field. I don't know why, but he just hasn't been. 2nd and 10 here for the quarterback. 4-man rush, and it's Nakamura for a first down. Emmanuel Castro is the quarterback here for Stanford, now a senior, playing in his final season in a Cardinal jersey. So from the 21-yard line now, they go play action. Garrison gets there. No, it's Stuckey. Christian Stuckey with the takeaway. I got to imagine Christian Stuckey will more than likely declare at the end of this season, but we, once again, perfectly timed blitz, and Christian Stuckey just did not miss his opportunity. He blows up Nakamura and is able to get in there and punch that ball out of Castro's hands and then recovered himself. A huge play for Utah State. And now with 4:35 to go, Utah State will try and run this game out potentially, not allow Stanford to get the football back. Blunt up the middle, and he picks up 6 yards. Here on 3rd and 4, it's a must convert for Utah State, and they got it to Truin. First down, Utah State. Stanford still with all 3 timeouts here, so they have plenty of time to work with. 1st and 10 here. And here is Blunt up the middle, and he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage. That was pretty much a negative play turned into no gain. 2nd and 10. Here's Xavier Blunt to the outside. He's going to have a first down. And that will also take us to the 2-minute timeout. Stanford at this point really cannot afford for Utah State to pick up another first down. If they do, Utah State can pretty much from that point just run this game out. It's been another huge day on the ground for Xavier Blunt. And then Utah State clawing their way back in this game as he's going to pick up 5 yards. 104-yard rushing day for Xavier Blunt. Donald Stacy in motion here on 2nd down. Here is the give to Xavier Blunt. And he's going to be taken down for a loss. Stanford will use their 2nd timeout. A first down here would pretty much put this one on ice. 3rd down and 6 at the 38-yard line. Tobin, what is going on? It's nearly intercepted. Tyquan Garrett was wide open. They sent the house here expecting a run to Xavier Blunt, and that's not what it was. Tyquan Garrett's wide open. I think Truan's the right read right here because at that point he had nobody on him. But really, it probably should have been Tyquan Garrett, and it would have been a touchdown, game over. Instead, Utah State will send their defense out to try and make the stop. Stanford still with 1 timeout remaining, as the true freshman's punt is a good one, and it's out at the 1-yard line. Are you kidding me? Stanford will need to go 99 yards to win this game. And really, they need to be able to block in this situation with 1:44 remaining. You better put a hat on a hat because Utah State's going to come after the quarterback here. Here's Rudy Peely, and he gets the safety. And that should do it. Exactly what I'm talking about. Rudy Peely, when he's on the field, he makes plays. And he just gave Utah State their 2nd safety of the season. Nice little fun fact for you. 32-27 to score. His first sack of the game. But it's really his first playing time of the game. And in this situation here, I'm just going to fair catch this with Steven Ellis at the 32-yard line. We should be able to send out our victory formation guys in this situation and just win this game. As Stanford utilizes their final timeout. Utah State looking to survive and hold on in this game. As the clock will wind down here, Stanford will have about 15 seconds to work with here. Actually, a little bit less than that. After the punt, it's more likely going to be like 10 seconds. So I'm going to allow this to just wind down here, probably just take a delay of game, and then we'll punt it away. I think the important thing here is to make sure that our true freshman punter just punts this one out of bounds. You cannot allow Stanford to try and return this, and it's going to be 10 seconds exactly. Stanford cannot kick a field goal. They probably have about 2 plays to work with here, as long as the first one's not caught in bounds. 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Castro drops back. He's scanning. He's just going to throw this one away. Last play of the game upcoming. I also believe that Rudy Peely has played himself into a starting defensive end role. He comes into the game, first play is out there, and he gets a safety and pretty much closes this game out. 2nd and 10. Castro's going to throw this one up, and it is incomplete, and Utah State survives. Another close game, but Stanford came up just short. 32-27 the final. And now Utah State gets to have a little bit of rest and recuperation for 2 weeks straight. It was a good day running today, but Utah State really didn't throw the ball all that much. Only 21 pass attempts. They did have 1 turnover in this game, and that was not an Anthony Tobin interception. It must have been a fumble. I'm not sure who it was, though, because it doesn't show up right there. But overall, a good day for Anthony Tobin. He went 13-21 passing, 2 touchdowns, 209 yards. Xavier Blunt was really good. Donald Stacy only 3 rushes, but he had 6 receptions for 112 yards. So that's a really good day if you ask me. Hoffman had no catches, so the freshman tight end was held in check. Tyquan Garrett, 66 yards and a touchdown. And then defensively, there's some stuff we got to talk about. Rudy Peely comes in and makes a play. Perfectly timed blitz with Christian Stuckey. That was why we were able to make a play there. And then 2 forced fumbles. Christian Stuckey with 1 and Monte Kahn with the other. And maybe something to consider here. The run defense in this game was not good. Kona Nakamura with 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was a huge day for Stanford. They passed the ball quite a bit in this game, but you know, when you pass the ball a total of 27 times, I don't think we did a bad job at all in this game. We held them to a low completion percentage, but the run defense was a little bit suspect in this game. And I am officially going to make the change. Rudy Peely is going to be our starting left end, and that's going to be in 4-3. And then he's also going to be our starting left end when it comes to the nickel or dime. Dylan Garrison, he's going to play right end, so that kind of got messed up a little bit. And then at slot corner, I'm going to make the change here. Max Wolfert is going to start over Dexter Peavy. I know Peavy's a redshirt senior, but Max Wolfert only 2 overall below him. I think that he is a little bit better in man coverage. And then he may be better as a tackler as well. As I'm having a lisp out of nowhere or speech impediment. What is going on? Max Wolfert will start in the nickel. We do pick up the commitment of Jalen Breida, a homegrown kid out of Harriman, Utah. So we get one commitment in this window here. We don't lose anybody else. And so at this point, I think we're going after about 8 more guys, as we should now be ranked 8th, as we are an A-plus championship contender yet again. Jalen Breida is a top 50 recruit, so that's a huge pickup there. 6'7", 333 pounds, power blocking left tackle. Excellent commitment out of Jalen Breida. In the battle for Zach Myers, it is truly coming down to the wire. Kentucky's trying to make up ground, but they're just not doing enough at the moment. The number 1 recruit is potentially 1 week away from choosing the Aggies. Creed Garrison, the 21st best recruit. We have a week 11 visit coming up, and we may not even get there. He's down to his top 3, and we are still in first place. This battle here for Dennis Van Landen, I think I'm going to drop out of this one officially. He's a 5-star, but I just don't think we have enough in us to make it happen. He likes Oregon more. For the remainder of these guys, we are pretty much at max points. And with 17 total commitments on the season, I'm not really sure what extra direction we could go in. I'm pretty much satisfied with the entire recruiting board. I think 17 commitments on top of what we could potentially bring in the transfer portal is enough. So I think at this point, it's down to these final, 8 guys that we have on the board? 7 guys, as a matter of fact. So we've already brought in 10 commitments. We have 7 on the board. If we can get commitments out of these guys, I'm happy with the way the recruiting class is going to look. Like I said, we have 13 seniors. So we don't really need a whole lot of players. As we simulate to week 9, we're looking for the commitment of the number 1 recruit in the nation, Zach Myers, and we got it. From Georgetown, Kentucky, it's our 4th number 1 recruit in the nation to commit. You have Dylan Garrison, Juan Lima, Derek Haslam, the safety we have now, and now Zach Myers. I'm pretty sure they were all number 1 recruits. That's 4 of them in 8 seasons. Pretty impressive. Creed Garrison will probably commit at the end of this week. Tony Boswell as well. Benji Skura we're in a good position for. We could maybe try and think about a visit here, but we're kind of blocked. So we just got to hope that week 11 he's going to Colorado, and we are currently in week 10. So that's going to be a huge visit week when he goes to Colorado. We just have to hope that they maybe lose that game. Lucas Finger we're in first place on right now, and then Stephen Carney as well. I think at this moment it might be beneficial to get Finger in on a visit. So we're down to our final 6 recruits that we're going after here. I think the Benji Skura one is maybe a little bit worrisome because of the visit that he has scheduled with Colorado in week 11. If we can get past that visit right there, I think we'll be good to go. Stephen Carney and Lucas Finger will both come in week 12. Jose Parra, I'm waiting on a motivation to kind of stick with him because athletic facilities is not good, and that's what he likes. Proximity to home, he's not really a fan of, so we'll just kind of have to see what else happens in this battle. So we're advancing to the next week. We are looking for another 5-star commitment here. And we have gotten Creed Garrison from Waukee, Iowa. No relation to either BJ or Dylan, but it's the 3rd Garrison, and they are all stars. Tony Boswell, a 4-star right tackle, has also committed, and it's 2 big pickups here in this week. Manny B and Rudy Peely now risking of transferring, and that's not really good because Rudy Peely is somebody that I really like, so I definitely don't want to see him go. And it's the playing style that is bothering them the most. But with back-to-back buys, of course, your sack numbers are going to go down a little bit. Benji Skura has the visit with Colorado this week, but we are that close to picking up his commitment. Lucas Finger has a visit with Wisconsin this week, but if he doesn't commit, then we do have our week 12 visit. Stephen Carney, good to go there. And then Jose Parra, really no competition at this point, but I guess we could schedule a visit for the Memphis game. And Coach Prestige is the best pitch that we have that we can use. So 14 total commitments, or 13 I should say, and that is good enough for the 3rd best class in America. And finally, we can get back to the action here. Tulane is 6-2 on the season. So far, they have 2 conference losses. So they're battling, to try and get back into conference championship game potential. BYU is an opponent that we play later on this season. They're 8-1 and 6-0 in the conference. Tulane would need this victory to, get that much closer to a Pac-12 championship game. But the battle is heating up. We're 7-1 on the season, 8 games into this season. And it's that time of the season where the college football playoff bracket is now out. And as it stands right now, we would play on the road against NC State. But the season is not done yet, and we need to pretty much win the rest of the way out if we want to get back to the CFP. Another big game set to happen here at Maverick Stadium. I remember the early days of the Dynasty when the stadium was not full. There wasn't a lot of fans here. Nobody was really excited about Utah State football like that. Now the stadiums are packed. People love coming to Maverick Stadium. It's turned into one of the best atmospheres in college football. And we're set to take on another good opponent in this stadium. This video might be a little bit longer potentially. I would like to get through the rest of the regular season in this video. So we need to blow out a couple of teams in order to be able to make that happen. So it's 10-0 as we begin this second half. I'd love to be able to get the football here and go down and make it 17-0 and hopefully make it so that we can win this game and move to 8-1 on the season. The defense is playing out of their mind at the moment as we begin this possession with Xavier Blunt to the outside. 6 carries, 11 yards has not been good. I guess every dog has their day. Xavier Blunt in this one just hasn't really put together a good performance. Zach Truin with a step on the corner, and Truin's got it in stride, and Utah State in one play will make it 17-0. Zach Truin is an animal out there on the edge. You go press coverage, and I think he's even a little bit better than Tyquan Garrett at beating press coverage. His release ability is up there with some of the best receivers in the nation. You know, when he committed, we brought him in to be that deep threat for us, and he has been just that. Tyquan Garrett's meant to be that downfield blocker, that guy you throw to on 3rd and 6. But with his 99 speed, he's obviously turned into a deep threat as well. But Zach Truin is the guy that's that pure deep threat. If you don't have the best corner on your team on him, or the fastest, you're screwed. Tulane would score a touchdown, so it's 20-7 now after a field goal by Utah State as well, as we're looking to move the chains here on 3rd down. Here is Stacy. It's intercepted. That's like the second time this season that I've thrown that route. It's those dig routes. It's just for some reason the receivers aren't fighting back to the football. And I believe that's the 5th interception of the season for Anthony Tobin. And now Stanford is back in this game. After a couple of first downs on this possession, Utah State has moved into the red zone midway through the 4th quarter as they're looking to cap off this game with a really solid victory over 6-2 Tulane. Here's Xavier Blunt to the outside, and he's taken down for a loss. David Myers shaken up on the play as well. It's been a rough day for Xavier Blunt. A very rough day for Xavier Blunt. So 2nd and 12 for Utah State after that play. And Blunt's going to be taken down in the backfield. 9 yards is just absolutely atrocious. Tulane's going to jump off sides here, so that should allow us to move a little bit closer and maybe score a touchdown instead of a field goal. So 3rd and 8 for Utah State. That's Donald Stacy in motion here. As here's a give to Xavier Blunt up the middle, and he's a couple of yards shy of the first down marker. A field goal would make this a 16-point game, and I think that's probably got to be the obvious decision here. You can go up 23-7. Villalobos' kick is good, and Tulane would need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions in order to win this game. Dalvin Kugbila with the sack, and that's going to shut down that drive. Utah State with the football back. A long run for Blunt of 15 yards. And at this point, this game is pretty much over. A field goal makes it a 19-point game. And Tulane is not going to have enough to win this game. Utah State will move to 8-1 on the season with a 26-7 victory. A game in which I didn't really have to jump in at all in this game. The team did their job, and they did it pretty well and made it so that I could just trust them. 244 yards for Tobin, 2 touchdowns. Of course, the interception that I threw, but those routes have been pretty tricky when I've tried to call them. It's like the corner just so happens to look back at the right time. And overall, I think the defense is what really won this game for us. We struggled to run the ball in this game. We did do our thing passing as we typically do. Anthony Tobin was really efficient, 70% completion percentage, 244 yards. And then on the ground, it was a rough day for Xavier Blunt. Donald Stacy's not getting the amount of carries that I would like, to be honest with you. Only 1 carry is pretty low. And then receiving, Rob Hoffman had a pretty solid game. Tyquan Garrett, 3 for 27. Zach Truin with that long 74-yard touchdown. And then Donald Stacy as well had another touchdown in this game. Defensively, we saw that a couple of guys are thinking about transferring out because we're not getting enough sacks. Well, Rudy Peely had 1.5. Dalvin Kugbila had 1.5. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what you like to see right there. 5 total sacks, and then Miguel Catapano with his 4th interception of the season. The good thing is, Demarius Ahmad will be back after this game. So he's able to go back out there and start at right tackle, which is really key for this team's success. And then at strong safety, Antoine Darby was injured. He's able to come back now. But I'm going to have Eric Hunter start at strong safety. He's been starting there for a while now, so I think it works pretty well to the point I think that will still help the team out. We should hopefully bring in a commitment after the victory over Tulane as we move to the next week. And that's where we find out Benji Skura from Graham, Washington has committed. So another deep threat receiver. You love to see it. Lucas Finger is going to be here for this game against Memphis. We should bring him in. Stephen Carney will be here as well, along with Jose Parra. So 3 guys coming to this game. Should be 3 commitments. And then at that point, that's 17 total guys. And I'm not really sure there's a reason to even look at anybody else. We can try and go on here and see, are there any top guys that are still interested in us that we just really weren't aware of? Like here's a guard, Logan Pope, the 189th best player. How about J.D. Wagner? I mean, you could certainly add these guys to your board, but the question then becomes, do you actually need them? And I'm going to say no. 17 targets, hopefully 17 commitments. That's going to be our regular season recruiting. Our next game is against Memphis. They're 4-5, 2-4 in the conference. They've kind of had a rough season. And when you look at the remainder of our schedule, this next game against Memphis and then the Arizona State game are 2 games that we should win. We do have BYU still left. They're 6-1. They're 8-2 on the season. They must have just lost because I'm pretty sure they only had 1 loss. They lost earlier in the season against undefeated TCU, which that was an excellent game. And then they just lost to Arizona, who's 2-7. That's a terrible loss. That's a really bad loss. But Memphis is the team that we're focused on right now. And we're at home finally. I feel like we've always played them on the road, so it's good that we're at home for this game. And I'd like to be able to do the same thing I just did in the previous game against Tulane. I'd love to be able to simulate most of, if not all of this game. That way we can, be focused on that game against BYU and get focused on the postseason again. If we make it back to the postseason, I would really love to play those games. Full games, like we have been making content in the past, the same exact way, where I do the post commentary. I'd love to be able to do it that way. I think that'd be an excellent way to try and wrap this series up, is maybe just play that postseason and then call it quits after that. Maybe 1 episode where we do like a long-term sim, or we just sim 1 season, or we sim 2 seasons, whatever the case may be. Just leave your feedback down in the comments below. I know a lot of you guys are upset because it just feels like we're ending this series, and I hate it too. Let's just put it that way. So far, it's been kind of a back and forth first half. It's 10-10 here in the second quarter. A lot of punts here in the second half, and it's going to be 10-10 heading into the second half here. And we get the ball to begin the second half. So again, at this point, I'm going to hop in and I'm going to play to begin the second half. It's 10-10. I'd love to be able to just kind of pull away from these guys and win this game, as Donald Stacy picks up maybe a yard, his 3rd carry of the game, so at least he's getting some carries in this game. 2nd and 9 here for Utah State. The defender will follow Zach Truin here, so we're just going to have to hand this to Blunt, and he'll pick up 2 yards. 7 carries, 27 yards for Xavier Blunt. Last couple of weeks have been a little bit more difficult for him. 3rd and 7, that is Blunt's. And Blunt's wide open. He's going to have a first down completion, or reception, I should say, up to the 43-yard line. Anthony Tobin makes a play. 1st and 10, Zach Truin in motion here. And Tobin just going to have to get rid of it at the last second he's able to. But it wasn't without him taking a shot. So 2nd and 10 now at the 43-yard line. Here is Truin. He is open, and Zach Truin's got a first down up to the 45-yard line. Jaquise Tiffin on that reception. The young true freshman getting a little bit of playing time throughout the season. He's probably got a handful of catches on the year. That brings up 2nd and 4. We go up the middle with Xavier Blunt, and he's going to be a yard shy. Here on 3rd and 1, I'd love to go back to him, but I'm not sure if it's the offensive line that's struggling or what it may be, but Blunt will pick up the first down. So when it's all said and done, the offensive line does their job on that play. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line now. Play fake. As we're going to throw this one to the back corner. DeMarco Pitts is unable to come down with it. The safety did a really good job at staying with the receiver on that play. 2nd and 10 from the 28. We're going to go Blunt up the middle. He runs a man over and picks up 8 yards. 3rd and 2 upcoming. Big time play upcoming here for this Utah State offense to try and keep the drive alive. It's been an excellent opening drive to the second half as Blunt will pick up the first down. 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Donald Stacy in motion. They fake it to him. There is a penalty flag down. Tobin's just going to step out of bounds here, not knowing what the play is. And it's going to be a holding on the offensive line that backs Utah State up to the 19-yard line. Big time break right there for Memphis. So 1st and goal. Tobin will get out of the pocket here. He's just going to throw this one away. 2nd and goal upcoming. 2nd and goal from the 19-yard line. Here comes pressure as Tobin will get out of there, and the pass falls incomplete, intended for Jaquise Tiffin. Trying to direct traffic, trying to make the play. Gets me to go silent a little bit. So 3rd and goal from the 19-yard line. As the pass is nearly caught by Xavier Blunt, but excellent coverage. And unfortunately, in this situation, Utah State's going to just have to kick a field goal. And the kick from Manu Villalobos is going to be right down the middle. A long, long possession for Utah State that only results in 3. 14 plays, 54 yards. I mean, that was a long possession that ended in just 3. And a touchdown for Memphis gives them the lead. It's Vernon Jones with a 37-yard touchdown. And now Utah State's going to be forced to answer, and they're going to go 3 and out. How many times have we seen this year where they're forced to try and make a response, and they're unable to? Now 3rd and 3 upcoming. I would like to trust them, and of course I can't. Another 3 and out, and now our defense will have to get off the field again. And it's back-to-back receptions for Memphis and a touchdown. So that might have just killed our season. In this situation, I have to step in. I can't allow our offense to go out there and suck the way they have. It's time that I step in to try and make some plays, make some magic happen. 3rd and 3 upcoming for Utah State. It's Blunt up the middle, and he's got the first down. Memphis has done a good job at not making mistakes as far as pressing Zach Truin. But in this situation right here, they are going to. So we'll see. We're just going to have to scramble with Tobin. He'll pick up 5 yards. I think in this situation, we still do have plenty of time. So there's no reason to worry yet as that pass falls incomplete, intended for Donald Stacy. 3rd and 5 upcoming for Utah State. 3rd down and 5, one of the biggest plays of the game here, and Tobin's going to scramble for a first down. 6.5 minutes to go. It's time that we start moving quicker. Here is Tyquan Garrett. He's got it for a first down. He came open at the last second. To the 22-yard line goes Utah State. Man in motion is Garrett on this play. Trying to set up the screen, and Blunt is blown up. Pass falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 now. Here is a big-time play, and that's Tobin throwing that one away. So 3rd and 10 upcoming. I hate when games turn out to be played like this right here. When you're playing so well and then you take on a 4-5 team. And this may be the difference between your season ending with a postseason berth or not. As that one should have been intercepted. It was not. And it's an 8-point game. Utah State's going to have to kick a field goal here. The kick from Villalobos is up, and it's good. It's an 8-point game, so you're relying on your defense to get off the field here. Then you need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. 4th and inches upcoming. Memphis is going to punt it. A first down right there could make this very interesting. Instead, Memphis will just punt it away, play it safely. It looks like an excellent punt, and it goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line. 3:07 remaining in this game. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. There is the tight end, Rob Hoffman, for a first down conversion. Zach Truin on the reception now. It's another first down as Truin's a little shaken up on that play. So that's something to keep an eye on. It's a foot injury, and that'll put Jaquise Tiffin out there in place of him. Big time opportunity potentially for Tiffin as we'll throw the deep ball to Garrett, and it's just out of bounds. He did have a step in that situation though. Second down upcoming. Here is Donald Stacy, and he's unable to come down with it. 3rd and 10 upcoming. Zach Truin with a foot contusion. He will come back a little later, but I'm not sure he's the guy you'd want on the field in this situation. 3rd down and 10 for Utah State. This is a big-time play. Jaquise Tiffin is going to be the guy we're going to in this situation, and that was definitely the wrong call. 4th and 10 upcoming. The game is on the line. I feel like I messed this entire sequence up here. 4th down and 10. This is huge. This could be the difference between postseason play and not, and Hoffman's got the first down. And Utah State's season, essentially, will stay alive. 1st and 10 now at the 36-yard line. Here is Hoffman. He's got it. It's a 8-yard pickup, and now Utah State will start to go hurry-up offense. 2nd and 2 now. Tyquan Garrett gets past the corner. Touchdown, Utah State. A 2-point conversion away from tying this game up. And now the question is, though, what's your 2-point play? Throughout this entire dynasty, we really haven't gotten to this situation very many times. 2-point try from the 3-yard line. And the pass will be intercepted. Anthony Tobin might have just kind of, I don't know. I mean, you're looking at the play here. Who was open? Tobin maybe a little panicked in this situation. He did not need to throw the ball that early. I think if he waits, maybe he can hit Rob Hoffman. I don't know. Utah State will now need a stop. On the bright side, if you do get the stop, then you can at least kick a field goal to win the game, as they're going to begin things with a run, and it's going to be a pickup of 3. So that's how they begin the drive. Utah State will use their first timeout. So 2nd and 7 now at the 28-yard line. Utah State looking for a big play. They give it to the running back, and he is going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And the game pretty much comes down to this play right here. 3rd down and 7. There's 3 tight ends out there. Utah State looking for a huge play here. They're going to throw the pass to the outside. It's broken up by Eric Hunter. And Utah State will get the football back with a timeout since Memphis decided to throw there. A field goal can win the game. Steve Ellis trying to make a play is tackled down at the 25-yard line. And that's where Utah State will begin their possession. They're looking for a victory here. It's a close game. 2nd down and 10 here for Utah State, looking for a big play. Tyquan Garrett with a small step, and it is laid in the basket for Garrett. Timeout Memphis with the game, with the game winding down. Memphis now forced themselves to call timeouts, because if not, Utah State can just run it down to 1 and kick a game-winning field goal. This connection with Anthony Tobin and Tyquan Garrett has been so good for the last, 1.5 seasons. Almost 2 straight seasons at this point. It's been one of the best connections in college football. 1:09 remaining. Memphis will start calling their timeouts as Xavier Blunt goes up the middle here. And that timeout right there is taken by Utah State because Xavier Blunt is shaken up on the play. And that's not good, because now you use your timeout, which can make things interesting down the stretch. And then Memphis still has 2 timeouts themselves. Donald Stacy goes up the middle. And Memphis is going to choose not to call timeouts here. After this play is snapped right here, Utah State will probably go no huddle and spike it. That's probably the right move here. Stacy goes up the middle. They will go no huddle. So 18 seconds. What is going on here? Why is this the formation? 14 seconds. We're going to spike it now. I could have taken it down, but that's not what I thought the spike formation looks like. So 13 seconds remaining. Manu Villalobos, the biggest kick of his life. And Memphis is going to try and ice us, even though we're at home. I'm not really sure that's even a thing. And now the meter goes really slowly. with 13 seconds to go. The kick from Villalobos right down the middle, and Utah State has a 1-point lead. Memphis, however, does have 2 timeouts. They're only really going to be able to use one of them, but they do have, or no, they have 1 timeout, I guess. They used one of them to ice them. We just got to make sure we make the play, tackle the return man, and with 7 seconds left, they're going to go Hail Mary now. But like I said, they do have 1 timeout, so they can maybe throw this ball about 15 yards, use that timeout, and then have a better chance for a Hail Mary. 5 seconds remaining. 3. This is going to be the final play of the game. And the pass is broken up along the sidelines, and Utah State will move to 9-1. I don't know how we did it, but we did it yet again. A 1-point victory for the Aggies. How many close games have we played in this season? When you look at the stats from a year ago, or the schedule, I should say, we played in one score game all season. That has not been the case this season. Like I said, I think maybe in the last episode or maybe the episode before, this reminds me a lot of that Florida State team that went to the national championship, beat Auburn, and they dominated everybody. And then the following season went undefeated, went back to the college football playoff for the first time, and got blown out by Oregon because they just really weren't that good of a team. That's kind of how I feel about this Utah State team. Overall, though, I think it was a really good day for us. We did have 1 turnover, and that was an Anthony Tobin interception. Completion percentage was low, but it was a gutsy performance. That's what I'm talking about. Xavier Blunt, good day for him. And then receiving, Rob Hoffman with a good day. Tyquan Garrett with a good day. Jaquise Tiffin had 2 catches as he was able to make some plays. DeMarco Pitts had a touchdown in this game, so that's pretty cool to see. And then defensively, Rudy Pelia again with the sack, but he suffered an injury in this game, and I'm hoping that it's not long-term because he's been so good this season. As we go to the injury report, we see that it was just going to be a short injury for Rudy Peely. He's going to be back for the next game, which is really good to see. We're 9-1. We should probably pick up the remaining 3 commitments after that game against Memphis. A win should secure all 3 of them. A blowout victory for sure would have. Lucas Finger commits, Stephen Carney commits, and Jose Parra commits. So 10 games into the season, and we are done recruiting this year until we hit the offseason. A pretty solid class overall. I think I'm really pleased with the way the class looks. It's comprised of pretty much all 4 stars, but we do have 3 5-stars, all of them on the defensive line. And as it stands, we have the 3rd best recruiting class in the nation. Stanford has the 6th best recruiting class. They continue to recruit so well. How about this? How about UMass at 13th? Not so bad. I'm just curious, 8 seasons into the Dynasty, who has the worst recruiting class in football? Like, I can just sort. Troy has no commitments. Clemson has no commitment. What in the world? Some kind of recruiting ban or something at Clemson? This is weird. Next game is against 4-6 Arizona State. We're 10 games into this season. It's been a really solid year. Anthony Tobin, 2,500 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, only 6 INTs. Really good season for him. Completion percentage is down, but it is what it is. Xavier Blunt is about 256 yards or 66 yards away from 1,000. Donald Stacy has 2 touchdowns on the ground. Tyquan Garrett's been really good this season with 800 yards. Donald Stacy with 499, Hoffman with 450, and Truen with 444. 5 guys above 28 or more receptions is really good. Man, when you guys listen to these commentaries and you listen to me talk, and I'm stuttering and all this, and that, just know that it makes me mad too. Defensively on the season, Rudy Peely has 10 sacks as a redshirt freshman. He's been balling out this season. And at the moment, I don't think he's really too worried about potentially transferring out. So that's really good to see. And then as the college football playoff bracket looks right now, we would be a home team against LSU. So potentially we could be playing a game at home in the college football playoff. But the bracket doesn't really scare me all that much, except for the team I see up there at the 5 seed. They scare me a little bit. We're at home again here. We're going to be at home for the remainder of our season. So I don't really think there's anything to worry about, potentially having to play a road game against a team that's looking to upset us or anything. And what I could really do, potentially, is this could be the last game of the episode, and then the next episode could be the regular season finale, And then if we make it to the conference championship game, it could be the conference championship game as well. And like I said, those games would be played out the old school way, where I play the games, then go post commentary, show you guys a lot more highlights of those games. I could do something like that if we win this game, and if you guys would like that. I think that could be a really solid thing to do, because I'd like to win another national championship. If we go back-to-back, that'd be amazing. And then I think what I would probably do is I would probably make the clock go back down to just 6-minute quarters, no clock runoff, and do it the old school way. I wouldn't do 11-minute quarters, because when I played that game against Arizona on 11-minute quarters, I didn't like it. It felt like it lasted too long. Even though it didn't, it just felt long. So I'd like to go back the old school way, do 6-minute quarters and do something like that. I think that's the way to go. Well, so far it's a tied game at 7 apiece, as Arizona State will go up 14-7. We tie it up and we go to the half with this one tied at 14 apiece. I mean, how many games in a row is this where we're going to halftime with a tie game? And how many times have I hopped in to begin the second half because we've been in these close games? 10:57 remaining as we begin the third quarter. Xavier Blunt up the middle. He picks up 2 yards. A better day for him so far. I've been kind of used to seeing those games where he's got like 8 carries for 12 yards. 2nd and 8 here for Utah State. We're going to go with a bubble screen. It's Donald Stacy to the outside. Tries for the hurdle, and he's hit out of bounds. Anthony Tobin, only 90 yards passing so far in this game. Trying to quiet the crowd a little bit. 1st and 10. We go Blunt up the middle. Xavier Blunt, fighting his way through traffic, picks up 8 yards. 2nd and 2 for Utah State. Donald Stacy in motion. We go with Xavier Blunt up the middle. And that right there was just poor blocking. 3rd and 1 upcoming. Arizona State's looking to sell out to stop the run. That's not what they're going to do. Blunt up the middle. He breaks free and picks up a 1st down. Big time play for Xavier Blunt. 1st and 10 now from the 33-yard line. Tobin going down. He's taken down for a sack. Loses 10 yards on the play. And that's not what you wanted to see right there. A just big time mistake by the sophomore quarterback. Backed up now, 2nd and 20. Here's Xavier Blunt to the outside, and he's going to pick up 14 yards as he goes over 100 yards on the day. Another one of those long possessions, as that was a bad throw, and Utah State's going to have to settle for a field goal. I got deja vu. Didn't this just happen? Villalobos' kick is no good, and Arizona State is going to put an end to this possession. Thankfully, the defense forces a 3 and out as we got the football back. 6 yards to Zach Truin. 3rd and 4 upcoming. And it's a huge run by Anthony Tobin, moving inside the 15-yard line. It's a touchdown to Zach Truin. Utah State with a 21-14 lead. 3rd and 1 upcoming, and they have just enough to pick it up with Bryce Tompkins. 3rd and 8. Could I be screwing up by hopping in this situation? I want to. 3rd down and 8, looking for a huge play. Rudy Peely a little banged up in this game. How about Dylan Garrison? He's fully ready to go. 3rd and 8. Big time play. Peely gets the sack. His 2nd of the game. This guy's a star. It's been the Rudy Peely show. I tell you what. This guy is really, really good. There's a nice 23-yard run from Anthony Tobin. So 2nd and 10 upcoming. 3rd down and 8. And it's a huge completion to Zach Truin, as we're a couple of yards shy from the end zone. A sack for Arizona State will take us to the 4th quarter, and Utah State on 4th and goal will kick a field goal to make this a 10-point game. Big time interception. It's Miguel Catapano. Utah State takes possession. It is a 1st down run for Xavier Blunt, and we'll hop in here and see if we can't make a huge play as Larry Wooten's in the game. Whoa, that's not what I want to see. Anthony Tobin will return soon. He's got hip bursitis. Christian Stuckey's out for the game. Cedric Prince is out for the season. And then Scott Flavors career ending. Obviously, we know about that. But Anthony Tobin being out for the remainder of this game is not what you like to see. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. We go to toss to Blunt. Tried to set up a trick play. That's not going to work. A touchdown could essentially win this game for us right here. Put it away, I should say. 2nd and 16. We're just going to go to Donald Stacy. Nice little juke move and picks up 8 yards. it's not been a huge day passing for Anthony Tobin. Oh, so Anthony Tobin back in the game. We could have just kept him out, but might as well. We'll put him back out there. 3rd down and 8. Big time play. True into the end zone, and the pass is broken up. Utah State will kick a field goal here. Hopefully they make it without my help, and they do. Another interception. This one is Eric Hunter inside the 20-yard line as Utah State is looking to put this game away officially. 4th and inches upcoming. Anthony Tobin is going to get the football again because you know what I'm doing on 4th and inches. Or you know what? Let's just prove that we have a dominant offensive line. Let's just go with the run up the middle to Donald Stacy. 1st and 10. With Donald Stacy shaking up here in this game, I think this is a really good opportunity to put Steve Ellis out there and allow him to get these final carries of the game. I guess you could put Daniel Jones out there, but we are redshirting him, of course. We're going to go Wildcat here. It's Steve Ellis in the backfield at the 13-yard line. Blunt is to his right. It is Ellis up the middle. Steve Ellis will score a touchdown, and that will do it. Utah State's going to move to 10-1 on the season, and they are just a little bit away from heading to the conference championship game and back to the college football playoff potentially. 36-14 is your final. The Aggies win again. The only loss was their loss to Notre Dame. Other than that, they've played in a lot of close games, but they have shown a lot of resilience. Anthony Tobin in this game really didn't have the yards that you'd like to see, but he was efficient enough to give us a victory. I think overall it was the running game that I think led the way with 256 yards rushing. The defense did their thing. We did have one turnover. We'll have to see what that turnover was. Must have been a fumble. Anthony Tobin, 13 of 23, 129 yards, no interceptions, 3 passing touchdowns. He also had 119 yards on the ground. Xavier Blunt goes for over 100 yards again. Steve Ellis was the one that fumbled, unfortunately. And then receiving, Truen, Blunt, and Stacy. Tyquan Garrett held to 0 receptions in this game. Pretty interesting. David Myers and Diego Warrior each gave up a sack in this game. Overall, Rudy Peely, this guy's good. 2 sacks. Jamison Awesome, Dylan Garrison, Dalvin Kugbila, and John Fowler all each had half a sack. And then Eric Hunter, Miguel Catapano, and Dexter Peavy all had interceptions. So I think the story of this game right here was, or this episode I should say, is Rudy Peely is a beast at defensive end. I think 12 total sacks on the season. And at 10-1, I think that we are in a good position to make our way back to the conference championship game in the college football playoff. Therefore, this is going to end this episode. I'm not going to play any more games. We take on 9-2 BYU in the next episode. So the next episode is all about, can we work our way back to the college football playoff? That's what the story of next episode is. And like I said, next episode is going to be like the original series was. It's going to be post-commentary. I'm going to play the game. After I play the game, I'm going to edit that gameplay. I'm going to do a commentary over it, and then it'll be uploaded just like the original series was. Really, at the end of the day, what that should do for us is it allows episode 97 to be this game, and hopefully the conference championship game. Episode 98 then could be the first round playoff game, or if we get a bye or whatever the case may be. We'll just have to see how everything plays out. As it stands right now, we would be a 5 seed, which I think is bizarre because I think we are one of the best 4 teams in the nation. Like, we should be up there above Oklahoma, but they're going to get the bye because they're a conference champion, I guess. I don't know. I think it's silly. But at 10-1, we are up there with the best of them. BYU has also been up there with the best of them. They want to go to the college football playoffs, so they are a team that's trying to keep us from going. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, I encourage you to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode where we play BYU and then hopefully the conference championship game. And that game could potentially be between us and BYU. As a matter of fact, as it stands, if we lose this game, Notre Dame would make it in over us. BYU and us, and then Notre Dame, if they have a head-to-head tiebreaker over BYU, which I'm not sure they do, the thing that I really just have to say, we can't lose. It's a must-win. The college football playoff starts right now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm rambling. See ya.